Actually, I got this video here for you guys about PlayStation is collapsing right in front of us. So if you guys didn't heard about, apparently, like, well, this was already confirmed news already that PlayStation is basically not having their single player games on PC anymore. Instead, it's going to have their multi-platform online service games be multi-platform, basically. And that's what happened. I don't know what other information are we going to get from this, but I'd be very curious to see what Mug Thief uploaded, because I like this guy. He really does give off really good informational videos, compared to Bellular News and Legendary Drops and like everybody else. But I've been kind of liking his content quite a bit, actually. But I do want to share this with you guys at least. Take a look at this, chat. Legal Eagle title for Frogan is wild. Oh yeah, we already saw that one already.
PlayStation seems to be trying really hard to ruin their reputation this generation.
They already have.
You'd have to try to have a week as bad as the one they did, which started off with them announcing that there would not be any...
Well, to be honest, ever since Concord failed them, they've never been the same, to be honest. And then also on top of that, you have Bungie also failing on them too as well. Yeah, it's definitely... I can see why, they're being a little bit more stingy on everything.
More ports of PlayStation 5 single-player games
I doubt it, though.
to PC. Meaning Ghost of Yotei, Saros, and the upcoming God of War trilogy will not be on PC ever. They cited bad performance of their PC ports, which is really funny considering that they're the ones who decided to port their games 3 years after they released them. Almost like it's engineered to fail so that they could quote it later. This, of course, does not affect multiplayer games, which now PlayStation is showing us the weekly average users of the top 10 games in the US, which means we now have Steam charts and PlayStation charts to put on thumbnails. But for those games, PC is still important, because after Sony said that Bungie has lost $765 million in worth, down from the $3.6 billion they paid for them, we now know that Marathon has not done well, and the only part of Marathon that did well was the PC side of things. Then they went...
Speaking of which, actually, it's been a while since we looked at Marathon's numbers. We all know for a fact it's a thing that we always check from time to time or so, right? Damn. That's kind of crazy. That's actually wild to see that. Damn. Damn, these numbers aren't looking very good, to be honest. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Yikes. Oh my god, dude. That's actually crazy. Holy Lord. I'm telling you, man, it's just not a good game. I'm like, Marathon is just not a good game.
Went ahead and raised the price of PlayStation Plus by $1, sure. But the thing that rubbed people the wrong way was the fact that they said it was because of market conditions, something we understand as either RAM or tariffs, which, as far as I'm aware, do not apply to digital services.
The market condition is them losing money from Concord. That's the reason why. That's the market conditioning that they're talking about.
Now, sure, they're going to say that it's because of inflation. And definitely not because of tariffs, because they're undergoing a class action lawsuit filed this week in California, saying that they raised the price of the PlayStation 5 because of the government's tariffs. And now that those tariffs were declared to not be viable, companies are going to get a reimbursement off of that, which this lawsuit claims belongs to the customers, not the Sony. However, for as much as PlayStation keeps trying to raise the...
Sony just keeps losing. I ain't gonna lie to you, because what the fuck happened to you? Well, actually, I already know what happened to them. It's Sony America. That's the reason why.
Prices of things and say that it's because of the RAM apocalypse, that hasn't stopped them from participating in the RAM apocalypse, because they've announced that they're working with Bandai Namco in order to develop new AI tools for game developers to bring their vision to life. So I guess all those wonderful single-player experiences will now be developed with AI. Now let's be serious. It's going to be all of the live services, the ones that they keep trying to push despite not providing anything original or interesting or listening to what people want. The combination of all of these factors and slowly the public perception towards PlayStation being more negative has led to this year being their worst in the last 10 years. From the start of the year to now, their stock price has gone down 20%. And yes, that is mostly because of PlayStation. Sony Interactive Entertainment is the biggest part of the Sony pie. And their announcement of no PC ports and increasing PlayStation Plus prices led to an 11% stock plummet. So both gamers and investors not very happy.
And I kind of want Sony, I want Sony America to die. I really do. The only reason why I want to see Sony America to die is so then the Japanese Sony can take them in, take back what from them, like take back that specific and suck them back in. And I want to see if Sony Japan makes the right decisions here. That's what I want to see, to be honest.
All of this is going on. Somehow, Xbox continues to distance itself from AI by canceling Copilot for mobile and for Xbox, but they're also hiring some AI people for Xbox, but they say that it's not for AI purposes, and they're still trying to appeal to nostalgia and announcing that they're going to fight the Steam machine with a new lightweight Windows that is going to run excellently for gaming on par with SteamOS. That one's hard to believe, but it really does feel like they're making all the right moves. At this point, it's almost like the console war is coming back in a weird way. And whether that's because we're seeing people not like PlayStation and giving power to other players in the space, or if this is just going to end up being a slap on the wrist for PlayStation, hopefully whatever happens ends up being good for us, the customer. But there's a lot to dig into. Of everything I just told you, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of weird. So hi, I'm Mug, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. It's a pleasure to see you.
I like you
too,
you
looking
guys.
Fantastic.
Remember,
you. Like the video if you like the video. Consider subscribing, but only if I earn it. And also, this video has a sponsor. We talk a lot on this channel about what it takes for a live service or even just a multiplayer game to be good. First, that they bring something unique to the table, and second, that they listen to their players. Which is why I'm so excited to tell you about repeat sponsor on the channel, Tier. Tier is a tank shooter infused with sci-fi elements that wants to bring all of the fun and depth and during this video. Alright, so there's quite a lot to dig into here. Video is going to be roughly divided into 3 parts. The first being PlayStation and its relationship to the PC market, the second part being more about how PlayStation is actively bleeding out, and the third part about its competition in the future of Xbox with Project Helix and the Steam machine, and of course, PC chapters.
I did say specifically the reason why they pulled away their single-player games on PC is because Steam announced their Steam Box machine, because the reason why is that it has a more better investment compared to a PS5 because you don't have to pay online and you can use mods for those specific games on PC. That's the reason why, because the Steam machine is basically a plug-and-play console, but a PC version of it. You don't have to pay online. You can mod it as well. You can use it as a desktop on top of that. Do I need to say more about it? Like, and it benefits a lot more compared to, you know, compared to a Sony console. Forza Horizon 6 has been doing numbers. I heard it's been doing pretty well.
Now, at this time, it's almost undeniable that for certain markets, PC is the most valuable platform.
Yes.
We can say that with a lot more confidence than we could before, thanks to the data that PlayStation themselves provided, talking about the weekly active users on PlayStation Network. And PlayStation themselves is keenly aware of how valuable the PC market is. The results from Helldivers 2 and the recent results from Marathon are only staggering because they're available on PC. And they understand the value of making their games multi-platform in order to have a healthy user base, because Helldivers 2 was released on Xbox. This is the part of it all that sounds very backwards to me, because they've decided that it's the single-player experiences that they want to keep under lock and key. Now, we can make as many jokes as we want about the fact that PlayStation seems to have abandoned the idea of making those sorts of cinematic single-player experiences that they've been known for, for a pretty long while now, essentially turning themselves into a live service attempt farm and not very successful at it. And it's the fact that precisely those sorts of games seem to be
well, the Sauron, well, apparently there's some controversy or so on the Sauron game or so, apparently. I have no idea. I don't know what the controversy is about. I haven't really looked into it, so I have no idea. But on top of that, we do know that we already have like analytical data that Sony players don't play new games. And even then, that specific genre of that game in general is more for PC than it is for console players. That's also that's what I think is also another factor, because what is it, like bullet hell / roguelike type of game is more PC oriented than console oriented, because that wasn't really that wasn't really that much of a thing or so on, because like most of the time you would play that specific game in the arcades, the bullet hell type anyways, and then it was more common on PC too. That's not really a thing that was very popular on console.
the ones that are benefiting the most from being available on PC.
Because it was mostly an indie
A great
game,
example of this
why.
is Capcom, a company I've talked about a lot recently because of their single-player, no-nonsense success stories.
Oh, okay.
Video games that feel like good old classic video games. No annoying live service elements or microtransactions needed. In 2020, PC sales accounted for 20% of Capcom's overall video game sales. And today, in 2026, they account for 52%. That means that even if you decided to pretend that Xbox doesn't exist and the Switch 2 don't exist, Capcom is a PC game developer at this point. That is their primary market, showing that it is—
Just tell them to fix Monster Hunter and we'll be okay. Am I going to play the next Monster Hunter game? Probably not, to be frankly honest.
It's truly a platform where single-player games thrive. And especially
the only way they will get me back to play Monster Hunter again, if they basically like did the same thing how World is, with just a few tweaks here and there. Just copy the same formula as Monster Hunter World, as in like the core gameplay. Like I'm talking about the core gameplay itself, right? And just add some new stuff here and there, right? And not try to streamline, everything. Then we'll be okay. Because the problem is they streamlined it way too hard in Monster Hunter Wilds. That's the problem. That is the problem that I have with that game. That's all you need to do. It ain't that fucking hard. It's just copy and paste, bro. Just copy and paste and change a few things and change some animations, okay? And then just make it a little bit better. That's all we gotta do.
Especially where deep catalogs of games that can go on sale and be comfortably organized thrive as well. Instead of trying to imitate that, which is something that I would enjoy because I could then play PlayStation games comfortably however I wanted on my PC, PlayStation is betting back on exclusives, on making sure that there is value for the PlayStation 5 versus something like the PC, basically recognizing—
No, I don't think it's value. I think because they're scared of the actual Steam machine. That's what I'm thinking. It's because they're actually scared of the Steam machine, because at that point, it's just like, what's the point of you buying a PS5 if you can just buy a Steam machine that does the same exact shit? It's a plug and play type of thing, but you don't have to pay online for it. And you can mod it. You can mod your like single player game. I'm just saying. Plus, you can also customize the shell on the Steam machine. And I bet you, like, even if there are third-party, like, shells, customization shells for the actual console itself, I bet you Steam isn't gonna, like, ridicule them like how Sony did. Remember when Sony went after a cease and desist towards those other, like, third-party people who wanted to make, like, custom, like, shells for their console? They fucking went after them because they wanted to sell the colors. That's the reason why. Cole, you and the other OGs let the new kids with the Monster Hunter run the narrative, expect more streamline. Well, all I have to say is, if they're gonna streamline it even far more than how it is now, I'm just gonna disown Monster Hunter franchise completely. Like, they had the formula in Monster Hunter World. Like, they literally had the formula there, the perfect balance. Granted, you know, there's some stuff here and there, but you know exactly what I'm meaning, because I'm comparing with Monster Hunter Wilds and Monster Hunter World, and there was a good balance in Monster Hunter World. And then the console, the handheld console, you had the crazier, you know, you know, stuff from Monster Hunter. What is it, Ultimate, for the Nintendo Switch, which I personally actually like as well. I would totally love like you know, a crazy wacky version of that, you know, like the Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Generations, what is that, Generations Ultimate or something like that, Ultimate Generations, the one with the bombs and everything, with like the special bombs and whatnot. That's the one that I'm talking about. That had like the monster, what is it, the owl monster, the snake monster, what other ones, I forgot what other ones. Is it that one? I know it's the one on the Nintendo Switch. That's the one that I'm talking about. Like, I would totally love to have that kind of specific gameplay in an actual like Monster Hunter World graphics and like the setting it is. I would love to have something like that, but you know, that's why there's a handheld version and there's the normal Monster Hunter game. That's, you know, that's the reason why. Yeah, I know the Japanese version of it, but I just couldn't remember the fucking English version. I don't know. I know it's something Generations Ultimate, but like I don't know if it was like Ultimate or something like that or whatever. You know, I know it was something like that, somewhere in that specific ballpark.
That the PC is an enemy more than it is an ally.
True. The Steam machine. Well, overall, in return on investment, the Steam machine is just a better investment, because the reason why is you buy it once and you can connect online automatically without you paying a subscription. Remember, Sony raised their prices on their subscription, so you're paying a lot more than usual on the subscription part with the return of investment. Plus, you have to buy a game as well on top of that. You don't think that's gonna add up more than the Steam machine itself when you buy the Steam machine and then you buy the game? And then also on top of that, Steam has amazing fucking sales compared to Sony. Who has better discounts? Steam does. Steam discounts sales are just way more better. That too as well. You can't do that on console. You cannot do that on console. You cannot upgrade it. So you're pretty much stuck until they do a refurbish or a refresh of their console for you to get like the PlayStation 6 Plus, you know? I'm just saying. Like the invest, if you look at it like logically and like your money, what's your money's worth? The Steam machine is just way better over, you know, over the PS6 or the PS5 Pro or whatever the fuck it is, you know? Subscription is like a loan you keep forever, every month or a year, the same game you wanted to play. Also, on top of that, you pay for that too as well. Yeah, you get free games, but the moment you stop paying that subscription, those games get taken away from you. So, I'm just saying. Like, yeah, it's the same thing with any subscription fee, but with that one, with the Sony one, it's not really worth it, to be honest.
Which sounds great if it weren't also that Saros didn't perform very well. Which is sad, by the way. Saros looks really cool.
PS5 exclusive Saros has reportedly only sold 300k copies. Whoa, it was really that bad? Holy shit, dude. Yikes.
I'm just too angry at PlayStation at the moment to actually play that game, despite Returnal being one of my favorites.
That's crazy.
But my point still stands. It's not like the single-player experiences that they've been pumping out have done exceedingly well, and especially some of the smaller games, quote-unquote, like Saros, are struggling and would see a ton of benefit from releasing on PC. However, I also have to say something a bit controversial, and it's that I don't think it's the worst idea to start betting on exclusives again, but only if that's accompanied with releasing exclusives again. There's a rumor going around the mill that PlayStation is looking to bring back a lot of its iconic IP, which sounds great. Unfortunately, also seems to be a trend within the industry at large of just...
Just because you're going to bring back old IP trends, do you think they're going to spend, like, what? How much is a PS5 now at the moment? what is it, like 800, 900 or something? You think they're going to spend the money for that? I don't think so. I don't really think so. And then also pay subscription on top of that? No, they're not going to do it. You can't convince these people to buy that. 900 for the Pro? Jesus fucking Christ, it's 900? Oh my god, fucking hey, dude. See, Sony people don't play new games. They didn't even play Final Fantasy VII Part 2, even though they praised the game to high heaven. That's pretty funny, to be honest. From 600, it went to 800 for standard. Jesus, fucking, oh my god, what the fuck? Holy shit. I can buy a used one for like 2 to 300. I can buy a used one. God damn, holy shit, dude. Oh my god, that's insane, to be honest. Fuck that, dude. I'm not spending my money on that. I'd rather go buy me a used one than that.
Well, we don't know what to do. Just bring back stuff from the 6th and 7th gen. But at this point, I feel like 100% we would all take it just to get...
You're weak. Your nostalgia bonus hitting on you, you weak ass. Now Scrap can make fun of you.
PlayStation back on making
I'm gonna be making fun
video
of you.
games that don't crash and burn, video games that can live on and survive for years to come instead of mediocre live service experiences targeted at nobody. I find it interesting that Xbox is on the other side of this, also being told by pretty much every Xbox fan under the sun that they need to go back to exclusives, but that's not really a thing that Xbox can do anymore. They've already announced that Project Helix is a Windows-based machine, which means that all of Xbox's future exclusives will still release on PC no matter what. So when people clamor for exclusivity from Xbox, what they really are saying is don't release games on PS5. And in a roundabout way, because as I said before, this is starting to feel like PlayStation is categorizing PC as the enemy unless it's conveniently an ally for our failing live services. The lines are becoming clearer here, in that the future of gaming will be divided between the PlayStation side of things, the Nintendo with the Nintendo Switch 2 side of things, and the PC ecosystem, whether that's SteamOS, Linux, Windows K2, or whatever they come out with, but all of those will coexist together. And then all of them will meet in the middle if it's a multiplayer thing, which, if you express it like that, doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world, but it is an interesting development. And whether it's the right financial move for PlayStation moving forward, well, that's a bit tricky. I really do think that if they release good games that are exclusive to PlayStation 5, it could turn out to do well.
It's not in this day and age. No, it's not. It's not going to turn out very good, to be honest. You think they're going to make a lot of money in return investment or so to keep their single player games on Sony console? I don't think so. I really don't think so, in my personal opinion. Hey, Winter. There's also rumors of Infamous returning. It's not going to make me pick up a PlayStation just because of that, to be honest. Because I doubt it, right? I really doubt that the original creators of Infamous is going to be returning to make the sequels for that game. It's going to be a different studio, 100%. Good Sony game is in this economy.
But it's obvious that at the moment they need...
I remember Sony being a good platform for Japanese JRPG games. And now it's like, well, you know, like that's what they were, you know, that's what they used to be. But not anymore. So I'm like, I play the anime games on PC now.
The PC marathon would be dead and buried without it. And I don't believe that they're going to stop chasing that live service dragon. Something that, as I recently covered on the channel, Japan has kind of unanimously decided that it's not even worth contemplating live services anymore. The reason I say they're gonna still chase those live services is because of the data they release. Those weekly active users, while topping the charts with a considerable margin, is Fortnite, with 14.6 million weekly active users. The second spot, to put it into perspective, is GTA 5. Sitting at 5.13, almost 10 million players of discrepancy there, meaning that Fortnite is really popular with probably kids who really want a PS5 to play Fortnite, and also Minecraft, which is number 3. PlayStation must look at these numbers and think that their future lies in making a game that can sit among those within the top 10 of the weekly active users. And that is what they have been trying to do. What I don't understand is why they keep trying failure after failure, and especially now that Epic Games keeps firing people and complaining that they don't make enough money despite them being at the top of the charts.
Because it does not equate to like the players playing online. It means the problem is they're not spending money in the game because everything is expensive now these days. And then they also raised the prices too for their V-Bucks as well because of all of the damn collabs they keep doing. That's where all the fucking money is disappearing. It's because of the collabs. If Infamous is returning, I also need a Prototype 3 to come out too. Time to visit Activision real quick. Oh, you're not getting that from Activision. You might as well pray to you win the lottery or something for that. Fortnite's still relevant after Epic laid off 1,000 people. Well, of course, that doesn't change anything. Now Fortnite is losing money on the collapse too. Of course they are. They're losing money right there because they keep wasting so much money on them.
What sort of success are you trying to emulate when the people you're looking at for inspiration can't keep a stable business going? And I've said it many times on the channel. Live service games within themselves are not the problem. I can't say that, even though I have broken my addiction to Deadlock. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, I am very proud. It's that live services aren't being pursued as these small sustainable businesses that keep the lights on and keep fans happy. They're being pursued in order to make tons and tons and tons of money. They don't know about this, but even the developers of Tier, it's about scope and sustainability. And PlayStation doesn't want to make the best game for fans of vehicular combat. They want something to rival Fortnite. They want the infinite money machine. And whether they can...
You can't have the infinite money machine because at the end of the day, how are you going to pull those people out of that game? You can't. Because they've already have sunk cost fallacy in it already. That's the reason why. You'll never get them away from Fortnite. They need to
go of that? I don't know. Maybe they're waking up because they have spent so much money and lost so much money in the live service game at this point that investors cannot be happy with the direction of PlayStation.
Not fucking happy at all.
As they recently announced a $565 million impairment.
It's not the amount of collabs, and it's the fact that they are maintaining the to license in the shop, that they have the rotation. Sometimes you will see a return of Miku, Bleach, Naruto, etc. Well, yeah, because number one, right, you're paying for the collab, right? You're paying for the collab and the IP, right? But then you have to keep paying for it because it's a contract for a certain amount of years. And then once the amount of years is over, they decide if they want to renew it again. That's the issue. That's the reason. That is the reason why PGR decided to speed up the updates for the global side to catch up to the Chinese side. Just because they didn't want to pay the extra money licensing to keep, because they have to, because the global side was so far behind. That's the reason why. And I assume it was probably pretty expensive to get the IP license or so for the Devil May Cry thing. And then they have to keep it there for a while until the global side catches up, basically, to the Chinese. But they say, nah, fuck it. We're going to speed up the global side so it can be on par with the CN side. So we're not paying this much money.
And on Bungie, an impairment translating to saying that the company that they bought for X amount is now worth X less, functionally downgrading their own assets when it comes to declaring their assets and how much value they have. They are technically justified in this impairment because of Bungie's lack of success, or failure if you prefer to call it that.
Mostly
which
failure.
I have said before on this channel. I think Marathon is a good game, but a very confused one that I just don't.
It's not a good game. It's an okay game. It's just an okay game. It's not a good game. It's just okay. Get it right. Sorry. I'm an FPS fanatic, so I know about FPS. It's just not that good.
Don't agree with a lot of its design, and its player drop-off and lack of attracting players has a lot to do with how the early game of that game is. It's very baffling, okay? Doesn't mean it's bad. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in Marathon. It's just that the game doesn't show it to you until 40 hours in, and the first 40 hours are kind of boring. But obviously, it's something that didn't resonate with players and was not the success that they were expecting, especially not as a console game. It was already rumored that 70% of Marathon's players were on PC, and now it's starting to look closer to 80%, meaning that Marathon's impact on PlayStation, especially when you take into account their expectations for a live service, might as well be negligible, or actually, more accurately, an impairment write-down. If PlayStation keeps bleeding money like this, they're going to have to recover it somewhere else, and I guess part of their idea is to keep raising the prices of things like PlayStation Plus, and of course, the console and the game.
Do you guys think they'll charge PlayStation 6 like $1,000? Do you guys really think that the PS6 is gonna be up to $1,000? I feel like it is. Like if they ever announce a PS6, I feel like it's gonna go $1,000.
As well as, if we understand the wording of the PS5 single-player experience is not coming to PC, maybe even continuing to buy single-player exclusives like they used to do with Square for a little bit. Until Square said, no, you're harming my sales too much. We need to also release on PC. So I guess they'll never learn. But one of the other important things that PlayStation is trying to do is get into the AI game, announcing a partnership with Bandai Namco in order to develop AI tools for development purposes, meaning that PlayStation is looking for a way to allow their developers to make games faster using artificial intelligence. To what extent this technology is being used, we don't know. Could it be for...
They already said what it was. I thought he looked into that, no? Let's see. What is... Let me see. So Sony and Bandai Namco are collaborating in the generative AI initiative aimed at streamlining videos, audio, and game production. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. Let me see. The tool is designed to speed up developers' workflow, cut production costs, and automate repetitive tasks such as 3D modeling, asset creations, and animations, allowing human creators to focus on the higher level creative visions. So the specific of the partnership it's called Game and Video Production Pipeline. The core collaborative pilot focuses on generative AI in videos and audio production. Both companies are testing how to use these tools to scale up content creation without sacrificing quality. Workflow automation. PlayStation Studios are actively using AI to automate repetitive workflows to improve engineering productivity. For example, they are utilizing tools like the Mockingbird, an AI-powered system that animates 3D facial models from performance captured data in seconds rather than hours. Well, there you go. Expanding global IPs and fan experiences. Beyond raw development, the broader partnership aims to globalize Japanese anime and gaming IPs like Gundam and Tekken. They are specifically utilizing generative AI images technology within official fan communities to create personalized, emotional, engaging content for fans. Create-focused approach. Both Sony and Bandai Namco leadership have emphasized that these technologies are designed to act as an amplifier of human imagination. They maintain that the core narrative design, the emotional impact of games, and anime will remain inherently human-led. Well, they're just working with AI, to be honest. And that's pretty much about it. So yeah, there's a little bit more information if you want to take a look at it, of course, but this is basically what they're using. I thought he took a look at it, but it was like Bandai Namco and Sony over there are fighting each other. Anyways.
Graphical assets and concept art? Maybe it's just code, which with the ever-shifting world of AI, different people have different opinions on what is acceptable or harms the final product or not. But it seems pretty clear at this point that PlayStation is full steam ahead on a lot of ideas that other companies aren't. Where we see a lot of companies starting to push back against AI, or at least introduce it very slowly. It's
only the Western side who are literally complaining about AI. Everyone else really doesn't care. The only people who care are like the vocal minority people on Twitter. That's it. That's literally it. They're literally using the technology to work with AI, not to replace them.
A lot of the repetitive rote task that more people seem to agree is a good use of it, and where other companies are deciding that live services are a bad idea and instead they should invest into solid stables of single-player titles that can live on, they seem to still be all in on their live services and now also on AI as a development tool. And it's the fact that PlayStation is going against the grain this hard that makes me wonder what they're thinking and what this could mean for gaming at large. I think this is where a bigger picture is kind of necessary, but also very valuable. It's important to recognize that while Xbox has screwed up more often than not, their whole CEO change with Asha Sharma, which I even clowned on because of course she comes from the AI team, what would she do besides AI? But they are actively putting in an effort to listen to people, to answer people's requests. They are actively restructuring and hiring, and while some of those are very weird, like Asha bringing over a bunch of her former AI developers into Xbox, at the same time that they announced that they're canceling a lot of AI plans, down to as I was writing and editing this video, they announced 2 new members of their leadership team, with Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball, an industry analyst that I have cited many times on the channel for being one of the best when it comes to reviewing the overall state of the industry. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he's ever done and said, but he's really good at the whole analyzing and putting things on a piece of paper, as well as Scott Van Villen, which is the former Azure OpenAI chief, which doesn't sound great, but he also did work on games at Amazon, which also doesn't sound great. The point is, they're trying really hard, and I think that's something that people really want to see.
Like, to be frankly honest, they are doing a lot more positive compared to compared to PlayStation. I was gonna say Xbox, but compared to PlayStation, at least, you know. PlayStation is going, Xbox is slowly coming upwards. They're not there yet. But they're slowly climbing themselves out of the hole that they created themselves.
Especially as we move into an era of maximizing efficiency and expediting process pipelines using artificial intelligence. People want to see companies give a shit. They want to see companies care about what they're doing and understanding their position. And I feel like Xbox at the moment completely understands that they are at the bottom of the barrel, that they need to fight for every scrap that they can get, even if it is with tweets of Xbox. They're changing, they're moving, and they're trying things. And I think
she's bringing her former team because she probably works well with them. I am giving her the grace for the positive things she has done. We'll still need 3 good years. That's the thing. We need a good amount of years before we can decide or so. It's more of a wait and see type of situation with Xbox. I'm not convinced yet because I want to see the actions instead of words. I want to see what she can do to Xbox. That's the thing itself. I want them to come back and breathe some competition against Sony because Sony has gotten way too out of hand at this point. I want Xbox to kick the shit out of them, and then I want Sony to come back and kick the shit out of them because competition is always good. Well, they dig a really deep hole. All we can do is right now is wait the long, and they need to get themselves out. That's the only thing. We just have to wait. We just really have to wait and see what Xbox moves are going to be. And we will be seeing at Summer Game Fest to see what they're going to be cooking, or if they have any announcements to say that'll shake up, or stir the pot, in the gaming scene from the big 3.
That can go very far in public perception. The thing is, PlayStation seems to be helping them. The fact that Xbox recently lowered the price of Game Pass, technically point blank, because they removed Call of Duty, but even if you added Call of Duty's price back into Game Pass, it would still technically be cheaper. And it took Sony a couple of weeks to raise the price on PlayStation Plus. That kind of says a lot to people. The fact that they are trying to compete with Steam Machine, with SteamOS, with Linux, means that they actually have their eyes on the right target, understanding that that is where a lot of people are moving towards, that is something that gamers want and a huge piece of the market moving forward. Don't mind me, I'm just playing a bit of Gran Turismo 4. I don't know, great game. This is an Android device. That crazy? People want Linux and Steam Decks and Steam OS, and they want to be able to do whatever they want with their games. And if Xbox can manage to centralize all of that under a console banner, then I think that's a pretty good future plan. At least a much better plan than what Sony is doing. The important thing here is that with Xbox acknowledging that they're at the bottom and they need to fight, it's very strange to me that PlayStation's hubris continues to be what it is, and they continue to make decisions that are baffling. They've taken so long to react, and we don't even know if they are actually reacting yet. That at some point—
Oh, you know what? You know what I just realized? This came to me just now. Sorry for the random pause right here real quick. Remember when we saw that video or so, that basically like Las Vegas is basically pricing out the lower wage people or so for vacationing and stuff like that, right? That's basically what Sony, well, the whole entire video game industry anyways, but that's what basically Sony is doing, you know, because I'm mostly portraying Sony right now, is that they basically raised the prices to the point that they basically like price gouged out the lower end class, and only the whales are the only ones that can actually like buy their games. And that's what basically, that is actually the same comparison as what Vegas is doing. Because we watched that one video of the heart attack basically getting closed down because they didn't want to raise their prices, just like how the casinos have basically been raising their prices and been price gouging out the lower end wages and everything, and then soon the middle class, I think, question mark. And only the whales are the ones who go over there to Vegas now, and it's been hurting their bottom dollar. So this is basically happening the same thing with Sony. So my curiosity is, how long can Sony keep this up until they begin to crack? That's my question to ask, you know? So we'll see. We will see. But yeah, I was just doing that funny comparison between the two because they both are literally the same. It's literally happening in real life and happening in the video game industry.
It just feels like we're losing our mind. How can you be in the lead and continue to make every possible mistake as if history is not written? But alas, I guess it's just kind of where we are, man. Oh, and I forgot to mention that like prominent accounts of people are being hacked over at PSN, including Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols, because like, of course, like PlayStation's checkered past with security, that has to rear its ugly head from time to time. That even
already on Windows, there is an Xbox mode you can turn on in the game settings, which in a way to turn your desktop into a Steam big picture, which it also eliminates some stuff working in the backgrounds to get use some FPS gain depending on the game. Wow, really? I did not know that.
Multi-factor authorization can't save people from targeted attacks on their PSN accounts. What is undeniable is that PlayStation's current path, whether you want to gauge it from customer perception, from stock market, investor perception, pretty much from any angle, isn't very positive. And I think that they're just banking that, oh, we release Wolverine and everybody will forgive us. I just feel like that isn't gonna work anymore. It's too infrequent, and people are more than willing to ignore Wolverine if the company that's putting it out keeps doing things worse and worse and treating customers worse and worse. There's tons of ways to phrase it and tons of memes from PlayStation, more like PayStation, am I right?
PayStation.
Banking on that GTA 6 to keep selling PS5.
That's a good nickname, to be honest.
Until the cows come home. But what I think is the real thing here is that it just kind of doesn't feel like they give a shit, doesn't it? Yeah. They're just stuck in this world of numbers, of trying to make the most out of it, and they feel so out of touch with what customers really want and where the gaming industry is at that it almost feels alien to me. And that sucks, because man, I say it all the time here, I love video games, pretty much point blank, just video games.
Same.
I have a PS5 and a PS4 and a PS3 and a PS2. I own most consoles. I've never been a console war type of guy, except for when it fuels innovation and competition, because I think that's cool, and hopefully, you know, I get to benefit from all of it if I'm in a financial situation where I can own them. So my love for PlayStation runs very deep, way more than any affinity I have for Xbox, which, like most people, I think, you know, is the 360 era primarily that we care about. And potentially, I would say that I have more love for PlayStation than I do for Nintendo. I mean, I do have harsh words for Nintendo as well. But a lot of my Nintendo criticisms are basically, Nintendo, please do better. You're not doing the worst thing in the world, but you should do better. PlayStation, I just sometimes don't recognize them anymore. And I hope—
Wait, what? Did hear that they're upping the subs because of GTA 6 because people will be wanting to play online when that game drops or when the online drops? Are you telling me they're increasing the Sony Plus subscription so then when GTA 6 drops or when the multiplayer becomes available, because I know it's not going to come out on the same day, that's the— oh. Man, I ain't gonna lie, Concord has hit them so hard, they have never been the same. Honestly, Sony has definitely not been this. They're trying to recoup any lost cost or so on Concord, and also Bungie as well with the lost of money of investment that they did. Dude, I swear to God, man, they are not the same ever since Concord died.
that they either crash and burn or wake up,
Concord
or
really
crash and
fucked them
burn
up, I'm gonna be honest
and
with
wake
you.
up and still have enough to pick up the
Financially fucked them
pieces.
up.
Because I don't think anybody's happy with what they're doing. Hopefully, though, this does clarify a lot of stuff and paints a very nice picture for PC gaming and Linux and Xbox and competition leading to good stuff and all sorts of things like that. But yeah, this is more or less where we are, and I'm not happy about most of this. It kind of sucks. So good luck with that, PlayStation. I'll be reporting on it. And if you like the video, remember to hit the like button. Helps it spread, helps it reach out there in the algorithm, reach more people. And maybe now at the end of the video, what I've done here has earned your subscription. If it has, that'd be great. And if not, maybe check out some other stuff on the channel, see if I earn it that way. Two extra special thanks here. First off, to the members of The Wall, the people who directly support everything I do, whether that be here as members on YouTube or over on Patreon. These are the people that support me hell or high water and allow me to make videos, essentially. And another extra special—
I would like to do something like that, to be honest, with like the Patreon and the membership and stuff like that. That's what I want to do too. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, overall, yeah, it's not looking very good for Sony. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's looking pretty fucking bad for them. They will slowly crack, especially, you know, if Sauron only sold 300K. I don't even want to imagine how the other games that are going to be coming out in the future are going to come out, or how much they're going to be. You know, how much they're going to sell anyways. So yeah, it's not looking very good for Sony. That's all I got to say. Ever since Concord died, and also the investment that they did on Bungie, oof, Marathon and Concord did some massive numbers, hit them really hard in their wallet. I can't wait to see how Fair Games is going to be coming out, and then also Hunter's Gathering too as well. Breaking news: allegedly, this is what Scrap is doing in the basement. Let me see. Allegedly, what is this? Oh my god. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, to all that fancy jazzy stuff. You too can be part of the basement gang too as well, and you'll be able to dance like this too as well. Anyways, you'll be as zesty as these people in the basement. So if you ever want to come around, come over to Twitch if you can, and come hang out with us. You know, and you can be as zesty as these people in the gang. Anyways, that's the end of the video, and peace.